these are very thought out, very like scripted, briefed, every single shot. Everything in the storyboard is like pre-planned. And then we go and get the content and edit it in the way to match that storyboard that we planned out. This is not just like, oh, like she's cute, I'm gonna ship her some products and see what she comes back with.
All right, folks, I'm back from a journey overseas. I was in Dubai, Israel, and I come back to a treat. The UGC queen, Savanna Sanchez. How are you?
Hey, Rob, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm back at my home base, the Marketing HQ here in Austin. Where does this podcast find you today?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, my home base.
Yeah, and we actually were just talking offline because I have so many things in my head. My notes actually said you're in California and now you're in Nevada. What made you move from California to Las Vegas?
I mean, I love the heat, no state income taxes,
There we go.
cheaper cost of living. If you can survive without the beach, which I do miss the beach, then it's so much better than California, in my opinion. Not as much traffic. So I love living in Vegas. So much fun.
That is amazing. Whereabouts, like, are you far? You're not obviously on the strip, right? You're away from the strip?
Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes out in Henderson, if you're
Oh,
familiar.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Alex Honnold actually lives out there, a famous climber.
Oh,
Do you ever go to
sweet.
the strip?
Yes. Usually when people are in town, I'm also a big like Vegas Golden Knights fan for hockey, so I go to the
Oh,
strip to
yeah. You
games.
guys do have a hockey team. That's fun. You were
Yeah.
pretty good too, right? Like, won a championship or something like that of late, right? Or
For
been
the
pretty good.
first year, we were in the Stanley Cup final but
That's
lost.
right.
But we've been pretty decent ever since. So
The
fingers
irony of a
crossed
hockey
this
team in
year.
the desert.
Yeah, exactly. It's like where are all these players coming from? Clearly not from Vegas, but yeah, it's so much fun to go and watch. It's my favorite thing to do on the weekends is go to the Knights games.
How fun. Yeah, I'm a big soccer guy, but soccer is basically, or hockey's kind of like soccer on ice. So I can totally get into that.
There you go.
Um, so you're pretty young and you're kind of at the peak of your like industry. How did you get started? Like, how did you get into ecom?
Well, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm 26 years old. I started working in like social media, digital marketing back in college. I would do internships around like Instagram pages, Facebook pages. Back then, it was all about like page growth, like how to get more Instagram followers. And I would work with brands and just be posting on their Instagram. I was kind of like their Instagram community manager and like so I started doing that and I loved working with social media. And this was kind of back then when Instagram was a lot easier to go viral and to get a lot of followers pretty quickly. This was back in like 2014. I knew I wanted to work in social media. I actually went off to get my MBA after I graduated with my marketing degree because I wanted to become a data scientist. I really love math and working with numbers, but I loved marketing as well. So I always thought like I would love to be in a job where I could be on the number side of marketing, like be in Excel. So I went to get my MBA in marketing data science, which I did. And right after that, I actually got a job through one of the connections at my college, introduced me to a marketing agency called Common Thread Collective in Orange County, and they were hiring for media buyers. And media buying was really like a perfect passion of what I loved because I loved working with numbers. Like I said, I liked finding like trends in the data, like CPC, CPMs, like what equates to the best ROAS. So I loved it so much. And when I started as a media buyer, I really found that my passion was also the creative side because I loved analyzing the videos of like, okay, where are people watching in the video? Where are they dropping off? Why does this video have a higher ROAS than this video? So I found that so interesting, just like the analytical side of looking at a video of like, why is this one more thumb stopping than the other? So it's kind of like that perfect blend between like art and science.
Yeah.
So really just loved that. And I worked at that agency for over 2 years. I kind of climbed my way from like a media buyer to like the manager of the media buyers. For some reason, I was a really good media buyer. So they had me train all the other media buyers, and I kind of had like my own little media buying department. where I would just teach all the Facebook media buyers what to do. Even though back then, when this was like in 2018, I think I was a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of I was really just preaching about like simplicity, like let's not have a million campaigns, not a million ad sets. Because back then it was all about like people would have like hundreds of Facebook ad campaigns and
Crazy.
ads. It was a nightmare. And I was
It was a
like,
nightmare.
this was like right when campaign budget optimization came out, and I was like, hey, like at the agency, let's just like consolidate our ad accounts. Let's make it as simple as possible. So that was kind of my job, was to like help like simplify the ad accounts, come up with like a repeatable process for training new media buyers. And really what it all came back to was like, how can we simplify the ad account so that we spend less time like tinkering in the ad accounts, making these like little changes that I thought weren't even really moving the needle, and focusing on what's important, which was really important was the creative aspect. Now with iOS 14 and all that crap, creative is even way more important than it was 4 years ago when I started thinking about this stuff. And when I left the agency to become a freelancer, because I really wanted to work with clients again, I wasn't really about the agency life, about just like managing people and all the agency drama and hiccups that go on with that. It was such a great learning experience, but it was always my dream to work directly with clients and kind of have my own business, be my own freelancer. So that's what I did in December of 2019. I was just like, I left, started the social Savanna, and my services that I offered was I was basically a freelance media buyer for hire for Facebook, Google, Snapchat, Pinterest, and also a UGC creator. So back at the agency, I would always be creating videos in UGC, which is user generated content for anyone who doesn't know what that is. For the agency clients, but I loved being on camera. I loved like editing videos on my phone. So that was another service I started when I started as a freelancer, was making the UGC videos. And what's interesting now pretty much my only service I offer, I do some media buying, but the majority is like creating the videos, doing UGC, really thinking about the creative strategy, because that's what's most important right now. It's not really about media buying tactics. It all comes back to having good creatives and then helping clients explore new platforms like TikTok and such. So I know it was a super long answer to your short question, but that's how I got started with all this e-com stuff. And that's how I'm where I am today.
Wow, that's super fascinating. I think it's so cool too, as well, because you're a little bit of an odd bird to be kind of a quant where you are into the numbers, but you also have this creative head. Usually you have two separate people for that. It's very, very unique to find somebody that is into the numbers, but can also understand kind of what drives valuable creatives. That's so interesting. That's fascinating. And so, what kind of resources or frameworks, or how did you kind of gain this mastery? So you got a little bit of tutelage at CTC, but ultimately that was more so on the media buying side. How did you become such an astute creative where you're able to understand what drives what? You understand hooks. Like your tweets are always so incredible where you're just breaking things down into almost like an anatomy. It's almost like formulaic for you, which is really almost counterintuitive when you think of creative, because you think of like this ethereal, like, oh, I just had this epiphany in the shower, I should go make this thing. And like you've brought such a, and I don't mean formulaic in a pejorative sense. I mean it's like something to marvel at, to take something so nebulous into something that you can replicate, but that replication doesn't seem like it's iterative, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It does kind of all boil down to like ad formulas. Like I have a list of like 30 formulas of different hooks that I use across a lot of clients, like the hook things TikTok made me buy, or doing an unboxing video, or starting with like a weird, oddly satisfying hook and then going to testimonial. So it really does come down to formulas. And I think where I learned this, and that's why I always recommend if people are interested in like getting into this space, I think starting at an agency really does give you such a great perspective, because out of nowhere, I had access to like 100 different ad accounts where I can go in, I can
Great
see their
point.
best videos, I can see what ads are working, what ads are not. And especially at an agency that works with larger clients, these are ads that have like millions of dollars of budget behind them. So you can say, with a lot of statistical significance, like, okay, this ad performs better than this one. And then you can kind of get into the creative brainstorming of, I think this is why. And so really my process still kind of goes back to the agency of looking at at accounts, because I still am a media buyer and I still have a lot of access to a lot of ad accounts from the clients that I work with on both media buying and creatives. And I'm always in accounts looking at like, okay, what are the top ads and what do I think is the reason why it's a top ad and how can I apply this to another client? So maybe it is the first frame, like the first 3 seconds is an unboxing, and then the last 12 seconds is someone talking to the camera as a testimonial. And if I see that's the best performing ad in one account, I instantly think, how, let me try doing this for another product and another product. And if you test it on a few and you see, okay, it's working across multiple products, this is the format that's working, then you can kind of consider that a winning format that you can replicate across any brand. And so that's why with my tweets, I'm always tweeting out what's working for me, like different hooks that I'm testing, things that I'm seeing working, intro lines, because I really believe that like the information is for everyone, and like I've learned so much from the amazing community on Twitter and other mentors who have helped me. I kind of feel like it's my way of giving back, and it also brings me so much joy when someone comes back and they're like, oh, I tried your ad hook and it's working for me too. And it also further validates that, okay, it's working for my clients, I tried it for you. Now all these random people on Twitter have also tried it and they're sharing with me that it worked or it didn't. So it's so cool that like the Twitter community is so collaborative, and I love just sharing what's working, and I'm so proud of the ads that me and my team are working on. So every day I have like 10 ads I want to share, even though I always end up sharing like one or two, but we're just doing so many cool ads that it's hard not to share it with everybody. Just 'cause I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, I love them. They one of my favorites was the reverse intro thing, where you just
Yes, the
reverse the
reverse
intro, and
drop.
it's just like, oh my gosh, this is so. Why didn't I think of this? Is so brilliant. I love it. It's so hooky. It's so eye catchy. Um,
Totally.
okay, one last question, and we'll wrap up the main segment. What advice would you give to? Well, I guess you just did that. You joined an
I have more
agency.
advice.
Okay, yeah. What would be outside of being able to get onto an agency? What advice would you give to kind of aspiring creatives or media buyers that you wish you received?
Yeah, I would say don't reinvent the wheel. And I honestly, I don't think of myself as a very creative person. What I'm really good at is identifying a good creative. Like if I watch an ad, I can instantly say, oh, that's a good ad, or oh, that's a shit ad. And so I'm actually really like, I have a team that's like a creative team that films the content and edits it. And they're like the creative masterminds, and they really have like that creative gene, but not, you don't need to have that creative gene to be good at ad creatives. I think it's just like flexing that muscle of figuring out what's a good ad, what's a bad ad, and why. And so I do a ton of research, like going through ad libraries of top brands. So if you're thinking about getting into creatives or media buying, just think of the top 10 brands that you know of and go to their ad libraries and start taking notes of what hooks are they using? Why do they think that they're running this ad? Like what's the length of it? What's the pacing? Is someone talking to the camera? Is it product shots? It's really become a student of these brands, and also just keep consuming on the platform. Like I have so many Facebook ads saved, so many Instagram ads saved, so that I can continue this data set of like, okay, these brands are doing this. Now I'm going to reiterate off of it. So when I mean don't reinvent the wheel, like I'm not just pondering in bed, like thinking of different ad ideas. Like I said, I'm not that creative, but I can identify a good ad. And I'm like, okay, if this big brand is running this ad and this ad has 1 million views, like clearly something's working. So I need to try to figure out why it's working and how I can apply that to my brand. So that's what I would advise to any creative or media buyer.
Oh, I love that. And then Facebook Ads Library for people that don't know is a great resource. And then as well, shout out to actually our head designer here. There's a little Chrome extension called Addison, and he has a little thing where you can actually save the Facebook or Instagram ads in little boards and stuff. So
Ooh,
even
let me
even
check that
easier to
out.
curate. Yeah, yeah, I'll send you a link. We'll get you a free trial. Zach's the
Very
best.
cool. Thank you.
That's brilliant, Savannah. How cool. I love it, love it, love it. You made it to the value add segment already. Time is flying. I can't believe time flies when you have fun. All right, this is why people bought the ticket. We're going to get a little nerdy. What are the best parts and hardest parts of running TikTok ads?
Ooh, the best part is that it's easier than Facebook. I would say TikTok ads is kind of like a beacon of hope in this last year that's been so shitty for advertisers. Like with the Facebook iOS 14 changes, I think it really threw off ad accounts in ways that we did not expect or anticipate, and has been really hurtful for brands and agencies. So TikTok ads, it's been not as affected by iOS 14, like in terms of performance. And because the CPMs are cheaper and their platform and algorithm keeps getting better and better, that a lot of brands are even just skipping running Facebook ads. Like new brands are like, it's too expensive, it's too difficult. I'm just going to go straight to running TikTok ads. And they're seeing good results right out of the gate. So thank God for TikTok ads. That's all I have to say, because Facebook ads over the last year has just been so difficult to get to work at the levels that they were before. So what was the bad part? The bad part is that you need really good TikTok ad creatives. A lot of brands will take what they're running on Facebook and just what they're running on Instagram stories, try it on TikTok, and they're like, oh, this didn't work. TikTok's not for us, and they give up. Or they just simply don't know like the right like campaign structure and like media buying strategies around TikTok, because it is kind of a completely different beast than Facebook. I think it's a lot easier than Facebook once you know what to do, but I think brands are just kind of lost and confused about what are the best practices, and also how to making sure that you have creatives that are optimized for TikTok, not just taking what you're running on other platforms and throwing it on TikTok and expect it to work. You do have to put in the time and effort to make very TikTok style creatives that look native to the platform.
I love that. And it almost reminds me of when the big brands came over and just started to put TV ads on Facebook, and like, why is my Facebook ads not working? And it feels the same
Exactly.
kind of same vibes there. Um, do you think there is any benefit to actually, because some people kind of use can to kill a mosquito sometimes. Do you think there's actually any benefit to creating the actual ads in the actual native editor on your phone? Or do you prefer to do it kind of, in like Final Cut or Adobe or something in a more bigger manner, if that makes any sense at all?
It makes a lot of sense. I would say sometimes the best ads are edited right in TikTok or
Yeah.
through like iPhone apps. Like CapCut is an amazing one that use for so many ads. So you don't need to be like a Premiere Final Cut Pro expert. So on my team, I have a creative team where I would say half of the ads we do, we actually edit like on our phones, whether in TikTok
That's
or
so
CapCut,
cool.
just to
That's
make it
so
super
cool.
organic to the platform. And then the other half, we'll still try to make it TikTok style, but maybe there's some more transitions or things that are easier to accomplish in Premiere, that we'll do through that. So it's definitely not necessary to be like a video editing expert to do good TikTok ads. I think editing it right in TikTok is going to make it look that much more organic and native to the platform. So it can definitely work good for TikTok ads.
Oh, I love that. What's been one challenge that you've dealt with when you transition from going from working at an agency to spinning up your own shop?
Mm. I mean, there's been so many challenges.
One of your
Um,
favorite challenges. That's kind of a oxymoron there, I guess, but
Yeah, I would say like I would say like the best thing and like the most challenging thing is like being in control of your own schedule. Like when I was working at an agency or any full-time job, like you have these meetings in the morning, you do this in the afternoon, you have these tasks. Where when you're working for yourself, like ultimately I'm in charge of my own day, which I think was difficult for me to master at first, of how to delegate my time, how to create processes that are um, like scalable and can so I don't have to work 20 hours a day, like how I can how I can best use like the 8 hours in my day that I'm choosing to work most effectively. When you're a business owner, there's literally like unlimited tasks, like between like marketing yourself, dealing with clients, dealing with billing, admin stuff, taxes, like you can easily spend your whole day just dealing with one of those things. So figuring out how to manage your schedule and not having your schedule, I guess, decided for you, or meetings that are decided for you, um, has been like the most challenging, but now most rewarding, now that I feel like I'm in a good groove of how I divide my day up between meetings and getting stuff done.
oh, I love that. Are you a control freak? Did you have a hard time delegating to your team, or was that a pretty easy transition for you? Because
Oh,
I'm a big
that's
control
been
freak.
more
I was just,
that's been very
yeah, it's
difficult,
so
to be
hard. Yeah.
honest.
So,
And the reason I left the agency, I think, is a bit of a control freak thing too. I was like, I think as a freelancer, I can do this all better. Like, I don't need an agency. Like, people want to work with me. So a lot of it, I think, is like ego and pride too. And when I first went freelance, I was doing all of the UGC videos myself. Like every day I was filming, I was editing myself. But I realized for my clients, like it would be beneficial if I had other content creators. So it's not just my smiley face in the ads, there's other beautiful smiling faces and maybe editors who are better at editing than I am. So I think finding those creators that I truly believe are better than myself has taken so much trial and error and finding good editors. I've been through so many bad ones, but I found like my core group of like really solid content creators and editors where now when I assign client tasks to them, the stuff that they're coming out with is like better than anything I could have shot myself or edited myself.
Wow.
I can still give the direction, but then not have to do the entire execution, which has just been amazing. But for the media buying side, I'm still 100% in control freak. Like I never plan on hiring a media buyer or anyone to help me. Like I'm 100% the only one in ad accounts. I'm still the only person talking to clients. So I very much am still a freelancer, but I'm lucky that I have these awesome creative content girls and editors who can help me with the content side.
Yeah, I love that. I've been trying to wean myself off as well, and so I'll give tasks to kind of my direct reports, and then just tell them if they have a question, I'm just going to ask them like, "What do you think I would say?" And then
Mhm.
I get really excited. Kind of what you were talking about previously is like when they come back with an answer that was better than mine. I'm like, actually, I wouldn't have said that, but that's even better. Go do that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I can definitely relate when you sometimes can give up the reins and then be delighted when you find talent that really fits and vibes with the culture and the performance that you're looking to drive. That's fantastic.
totally.
What's some of the big like what are the biggest mistakes people make when making UGC or getting UGC, either and or?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of bad UGC, let me tell you. And I've created some bad UGC back in the day, like 4 years ago. So I can really go on and on about this. But I would say, like, one of the biggest mistakes I see brands do is they'll find micro influencers on Instagram or TikTok and they'll be like, hey, let's collaborate. They'll DM them, send them some product, and they get the ads back and they're disappointed. And they try them in the ad account and they're like, oh, this didn't work. And I think that it's expecting influencers to be like ad marketers or like understand like e-commerce direct response marketing. So a lot of these influencers know nothing about e-commerce or direct response. They're really good at shooting content or looking good on camera, but that absolutely does not mean that they know what a hook is, how to grab attention in the first 3 seconds, that the ad needs to be a certain length, what lighting we need, what shots we need. So I would say that the biggest mistake is like making the assumptions that you're going to get like the ads that I post on Twitter, for instance. Like these are very thought out, very like scripted, briefed, every single shot, everything in the storyboard is like pre-planned. And then we go and get the content and edit it in the way to match that storyboard that we planned out. This is not just like, oh, like she's cute, I'm gonna ship her some products and see what she comes back with. So it's very much like methodological,
Methodical.
scripted, formulaic, as you pointed out. I'm like, this is the element from this ad that worked well, and then I need you saying this for 3 seconds, and then we're shooting this, and then we're doing this light, and then we're ending here. Like it is very much pre-planned. So I think if you don't, it's fine to work with micro influencers and contact them, but have like a very specific brief of the shots you want, the script you want, the intro, the outro, and then you're going to be a lot happier with the end result. Don't expect influencers or content creators to be good ad marketers. So that's something that I would 100% recommend if you're a brand or if you're starting out with being your own content creator. Like come in with a plan. Like the worst thing you can do, like if I have a client, like, oh, I need to shoot some stuff for them today for an ad, it's just like shoot stuff without a plan. Like at least have like an ad inspiration that you're going off of, or a script that you've pre-written out, or certain shots that you've seen in other ads that you want to get. Then you're going to be a lot more intentional with the content you create. And then editing it is going to be so much faster after because you're basically just going to follow the formula that you've already decided on.
Oh, I love that. So what does that look like for you then? Do you just write it down in a storyboard? Do you have like a software that you use? Do you just kind of like take me kind of a little bit through that process because I love this where it almost sounds like that you're scripting all of this and then the UGC person is almost essentially just like the talent and they're executing on
Yes.
this script that you give them, right?
Exactly, and a lot of the talent I work with are actually actresses, like, their
Oh,
full-time gig
perfect.
is acting. So that's what I'm when I'm trying to identify good talent, I'm really just looking for people who can, like, talk well to the camera, understand good lighting, get the shots I need. I don't even care if they have 1 follower or 100,000 followers, like, I'm just looking for, like, really natural talent and, like, authenticity, and of course, matching, like, the client's, like, demo of what they're looking for. So a bit about my process. So I have 15 girls on my team who only create content for me. And every single week for all of my clients, I'm going to these same 15 girls to get content. So I'll assign them maybe 2 ads each a week. So every single week, I usually do this on Thursdays and Fridays. I'll go and I'll write the scripts, and I use a Trello board for all my project
Oh,
management.
cool.
My
Yeah.
creators and my clients love Trello. So I'll first write a content guide that's more like general brand talking points, value props, do's and don'ts. That's not specific to this ad, but more of just like general. Learn about the brand. This is what we need. And then I'll go into providing a specific ad example. So I always show them a previous ad example, whether that we've made or that I found online of like, okay, this is kind of the vibe we're going for. And I'll point out like the elements that I like, we love that these shots are in this ad. We need, and then I'll write out the script. Like, here's the lines that we need. And so, because I've been working with these same 15 girls, a lot of them for months on end now, like they kind of understand the process and what I'm looking for. So I can provide them this script. And then usually they have like a 3-day turnaround time to get me the raw content. So I usually give them all of the scripts and briefs by Friday so that by Monday I can review all the raw content and make sure that all of the shots that I requested, all the scripted lines, everything sounds good. And maybe I'll go back and ask them for some extra shots if I thought one wasn't that good, or maybe I want them to read an extra line. So the ultimate goal is that by Tuesday of each week, I have all the raw content ready to send to the editors. And then I go to the editors with the raw content and I'm like, okay, here's a storyline. Like, we want this shot first. So I'll point to this clip. Then I want her saying this line. And then I want this shot. And they're all 15-second ads. So it is a short storyboard, between 15 and 30 seconds. And so then the editors get me the first drafts by Wednesday or Thursday, and I can give any revisions. So that on Friday of each week, I send out all the ads to my clients, and then I start the process over of writing the briefs for the next week. So that's my weekly process and how I work with the content creators.
No, that's a beautiful cadence. It sounds like a very well-oiled machine. I love that. The shout out Trello. Let's go. Let's go.
Trello is
Uh,
awesome.
when you're looking at like creatives and evaluating them, what makes a good creative and what makes a bad creative?
Performance. you know,
Beautiful answer.
I think I've had to put my pride aside a lot because and this again, it goes back to the flexing that muscle of identifying this is a good ad, this is a bad ad. You don't always get it right. Sometimes I'll see an ad and I'm like, I don't know about this one. Like, we'll test it, but I think it's kind of slow at the beginning. But then it ends up being like the best performing ad. And then I have to like rethink about like, okay, why did this actually perform well? And same with other ones. There's ads I make where I'm so excited about it. It's following all the right formulas, it's all the elements, and then it doesn't spend, it doesn't get good ROAS. And the other ads just overtake it. And then I have to come back and analyze like what went wrong, what can I change about it. So I'm definitely not like 100% on my radar of like, this is going to work, this is not. Um, but ultimately, me and my clients, all we care about is what's it called? Like, one ROAS to rule them all. Like, what's it
Yeah.
called? Oil.
Three ROAS to rule them all. But yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Clients
I
have their
love.
triple wheel dashboard up and they're looking
Let's
at their
go.
ROAS on TikTok and how their MER is looking. And ultimately, they're going to let me know like either these ads are making money for us or they're not and you're fired. So ultimately, I'm trying to make more of the ads that are making money for them so I can keep my job, and then just doubling down on the ads that are working. So I'm 100% in triple whale or in ads manager looking at the creative performance, and identifying what are the top spenders, what are the top performers, and just doubling down on the concepts that are working.
What a gorgeous answer. I also had a big fall from grace as well, where I used to kind of worship at the altar of aesthetic, and like,
Mm.
and you realize like these gorgeous ads are for people in marketing Twitter to be like, these are gorgeous ads. They're not for
True,
printing
true,
money. And
true.
you're just like, do you want to win awards or do you want to put commas in your bank account? Like, you can choose. It's fine. I'll do which one you want. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if those awards are going to pay your rent. And so I had a hard
Mm.
fall from grace, and I had clients that would spend upwards of 10, 15K a month. This is back when I was running my shop, and we would beat them out with just little Canva ads. And you're like, you just
I
paid
love that.
seven
Isn't that the
grand for
best
that
feeling?
creative. It's like, I mean, we could keep running this if you want, man, but this Canva ad is commanding all the spend, and it cost us literally like $100 to make, but it's
That's
your money.
amazing.
We'll spend it how you want. So I love that answer. I think more people should subscribe to that answer, because it's, you can get caught in that. And I love the humility as well, where you're not going to be able to call it all the time, but having that self-reflection to be like, okay, why did I get this wrong? And then seeing if you can calibrate the system even more finely to make sure that that one doesn't slip through the cracks. And it might, it's never going to be 100%, because there's always trends. There's always these things that you're going to be able to find and ride. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think that's such a beautiful way to anchor yourself in performance, because at the end of the day, that is what ads are for, is to drive performance. They're not to win awards, in my opinion anyways.
Totally. I always have that conversation with clients, some of them that are more like brand focused, like aesthetic, like you said. And I always just tell them, like, just try it. I'm like, I have 4 other clients. This formula worked. Like, these content creators work. Like, this is a good ad. Just try it. And then if they do try it, then they're like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And to your point, the contrary, they have like this beautifully polished ad. I'm like, this isn't going to work well on TikTok. And then, but I'll launch it just to prove a point. And then I'm like, yeah, it didn't work. Surprise. So,
Awkward. I
and
love
to your
that.
point too about like, you're never going to guess 100% of the time or what ads are going to work. Because if I had that ability for 100% of the time, I knew what ads are going to work, I would have my private island and I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I always tell it to clients too. I'm like, if I had the formula for media buying to where I could just print money and ROAS, like I wouldn't be here. I'd be doing my own thing, be on my private jet. But I don't.
Uh,
So here I am on this call with you. I'm gonna try my best. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a good point.
oh, I love that. Okay, a couple more questions and then we'll get into the rapid fire. What are some of your favorite hooks?
Ooh, things TikTok made me buy is like one that
Mm-hmm.
seems to work across so many clients. It's actually like saying the word TikTok. Stuff I wish I knew about sooner. Website you
Ooh.
should know about. X editions like furniture edition. Um, don't buy this, buy that instead. For like,
Ooh.
don't buy the more expensive one. Here's like a cheaper alternative or a better quality alternative. Think there's a lot of like things I wish I knew about, or Amazon finds, stuff I found on the internet that I can no longer live without. These are like classics that I keep going back to over and over again.
Oh, I love that. Um, what's some of your favorite enhancements?
Like, what's an enhancement?
Like the robot voice. I love that one where you put that out, like where the computerized voice that reads the captions.
I love a good robot voice.
You gotta love it, right?
That's something I feel like we've the last 6 months I'm kind of burned out on robot voice. We did it
Oh
so
no!
there was a point where like every single ad we were making had a robot voice for like a couple months. So we're finally off the robot voice trend. Now the latest thing we're doing over the last couple weeks is like ASMR. So like no music,
Oh
no
yeah,
voice, just like the sounds of the product. We've been
yeah.
super into those last couple weeks. So
That's gonna be
ASMR has kind of
mesmerizing.
replaced robot voice for the time being, for the better. I'm
R.I.P.
so tired of hearing that robot voice.
R.I.P. Robot voice.
Never,
It
it'll
isn't
come
it.
back, but I need a little break.
It's funny though, because it has to be hilarious for you. I always joke about. So I play around on Reddit a lot, and a lot of times on Reddit,
Nice.
that's kind of like the genesis of the meme, and then it'll kind of trickle down through the social networks, and eventually ends on Facebook, and then your friends send it to you and stuff. And you're like, dude, I've seen this meme like 2 years ago, kind of thing. So that must be how you feel on a lot of these hooks and trends, where you're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this hook forever, and now it's finally going mainstream. Oh,
Totally.
RIP robot voice. Oh, okay, last question. What's the biggest opportunity you see with TikTok?
I think just the fact that it's still like 4 times cheaper in terms of CPMs than
Yep.
Facebook. It's not going to be like that forever. So I think the opportunity is now to like take advantage of not all brands are on TikTok yet or are figuring it out in terms of like the right creatives or have enough budget to really test it. So it's still super early. There's not as much competition. What I love about TikTok too is they also have really great support for both agencies and brands, like the dedicated reps that you get once you start spending like a certain threshold, they'll assign you an account rep or an agency rep. And they're just fantastic at like getting you on new betas and alphas and really making sure that the account is like as optimized as it could be. So I really have enjoyed just working with the people at TikTok too. And yeah, just like the support is great. The platform is stable. It's scalable. It's cheaper than Facebook. It's like, what else is there to say?
No, I love that. Yeah, and it's great to hear that the reps are better because if I get one more damn call from a Facebook, I don't even
Oh
run
no.
Facebook. I don't even run account. Well, I guess I'm on the triple account now, but outside of the triple account, I'm not, and I still get calls, and they are just incessant. It's like a bad ex is drunk, and they're just like 6 calls in a row. You're like, dude, chill. It's just,
It's so
anyways,
bad.
that's fantastic.
These
All right.
marketing, quote unquote, Facebook marketing experts.
That's the other thing too. It's like, dude, you're an X bazillion dollar company and you're just pulling people off the street, it feels like, and you're like, hey, Power Five. And you're like, dude, like, anyways, especially because like if you're spending like once you start to get like reps or at least decent reps, like you're spending decent amounts of money and they're coming at you with just this garbage. Let's run traffic campaigns. And you're just like, okay,
Yeah.
good
They're
talk.
just
See you
reading
out
off
there. It
the
is.
script.
Yeah, it's condescending. It's a bit like, come on, come on.
Yeah.
All right, Savannah. You know I love you, but it's rapid fire time. Are you ready? Strap
I'm
in.
ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Overrated, underrated, thumb stop ratio.
Overrated.
Ooh, I love it. Yosemite, overrated, underrated.
I would say underrated. I've never been though, so
You're the third. You, Chase. How these California people? How do you not go to Yosemite? You're killing me.
I think when you live in
Uh,
California, you don't drive anywhere because it's too much traffic. You just stay at home.
fair point. Whippets, and not the party type people. We're talking about puppies here. Overrated, underrated.
Underrated. Kevin the
Oh,
silly whippet on Instagram is my little puppy. If anyone wants to give
he's
him a follow.
Oh, you should follow him. He's adorable. He did a little sofa ad with you as well, didn't he?
He
I saw
did.
on your
He's
Instagram.
the star of a lot of
He's
ads. He's a
yeah, he's
dog
a star.
food ad, dog
He's
beds, anything dog related. He's always down for.
yeah, he is an absolute star and a handsome little fellow at that. UGC, overrated or underrated?
Underrated, of course. Maybe like I don't know because it is pretty hyped up. So maybe it's just like
It can be
properly
accurately
rated.
rated. Yeah, yeah, I love it. TikTok, overrated or underrated?
I would also say like pretty accurately
Properly
rated.
rated. I love it.
People are into TikTok now.
Instagram Reels, overrated or underrated?
Definitely underrated. It's a platform or a placement that a lot of advertisers aren't really spending significantly on, but you can take your TikTok ads, throw it on Instagram Reels, and they're doing really well right now for my clients.
Fantastic. I see a lot of, they're getting a ton of impressions too on the main feed where they're starting to smash them into your main feed as well, which is pretty
100%. And
awesome.
on Facebook, they're showing a lot of Instagram
You're
Reels.
right. You're right. Favorite thing to do in Vegas?
Golden Knights games.
Oh, yeah. Got to get your ice time in. I love it.
Yeah.
Favorite meal and why?
Ooh, so I love sushi. Can't go wrong. We have a really good sushi place here in Vegas that we go to once a week. So
Oh, yeah. What's your go-to roll?
they have like this like mango salmon roll. That's my
Ooh.
favorite.
Do you ever do like the real bougie ones where they like cook them? It's not even like a sushi roll or the
No.
no, you keep it primo. I
I'm just
like
a
it.
classic roll girl, like rainbow roll.
Simple gal, simple pleasures. I love it. Favorite place traveled to and why?
I studied abroad in Cape Town, South Africa for six
Really?
months, which was, I loved Cape Town so much. Really great nature, good weather, good people. So that's a favorite place for sure.
How'd you get there? That's a long, long trip.
You stop through Dubai.
I was just in Dubai. Okay, so you go across. Oh, so you go west and
You
you
go
go
like all
around.
the way to Dubai, like across the Atlantic,
Okay,
and then
and then
down.
Dubai. Oh my gosh.
It's
So
not
what
a
are
direct way.
yeah. So what's I guess what's the longest flight you've been on then? That has to be
Mm,
what, 12, 14 hour flight?
yeah, probably. I've been to Australia a few times, and I think that's like from LA, like 13 hours to Sydney.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
think is Dubai to LA is probably longer then, right?
It
What
was
was
well, we went Dubai to Newark. Or actually Tel Aviv. So we skipped a little bit. So I
that?
don't know. Yeah. So Dubai to there's a Dubai to LA? Man,
Yep.
imagine that.
Taken it a few times, unfortunately.
Oh no, I am not
That's
into
my
that.
longest.
Yeah, I am not into that. My longest was 12 and I hated it. Not the path for me. Favorite way
Yeah.
to spend your time?
Probably with my whippet, Kevin, the puppy. When I'm not on Twitter, I'm hanging out with the dog.
Uh, Speaking of Twitter, favorite follow on Twitter?
Triple Whale, of course.
Right in the feels, right in the feels. Okay, last question. You'll make it through the gauntlet that is rapid fire. If you could have dinner with three people, dead or alive, fictional or non-fictional, who would it be? So there's a 4-person table. You're sitting at the head, and you have 3 guests. You can invite anybody. Who would they be?
Oh, this is so hard. I'm so bad at these. I need some time to think.
Okay, I can fill
Definitely
some
can't
time.
rapid fire this. Um, Maybe my family. I feel like that's a
Oh, so okay. So now you got to pick out of your family. So you're talking mom, dad,
yeah,
siblings.
I have a mom, dad, and husband.
Aw, that's sweet. I think you're the first person that said that. How sweet. Oh, I
I think
love it.
it was an easy cop out because I couldn't think of anyone else. I was like, celebrities. I don't really like any celebrities. I don't know. If I had some more time, maybe I could get a
Understood.
better list together.
Oh, I love that. Savannah, you've been such a gem. Thank you for all the knowledge and everything that you've put out into the world. Speaking of what you put out into the world, you've just launched a new course, correct?
I did. It is a TikTok ads mastery course where people can learn everything they need to know about TikTok media buying, TikTok ad creatives, TikTok attribution with Triple Whale. Big Triple Whale section on there. So if you're already a Triple Whale user and you want to figure out how to do TikTok ads, this is going to play right into your existing Triple Whale reporting and attribution reporting. So I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in TikTok ads.
How do people get it? How do people get involved?
Maybe is there going to be like a link
Yeah,
potentially?
we can put link in the show notes.
Okay, link in the notes.
Boom. Link in the notes.
Boom.
And then perfect. That's it. That's the show. You made it. Can you believe it?
We did it. Thank you.
Unbelievable. Unfazed. The Nevada sun has done you well. You are
Um,
incredible human. Thank you so much for taking the time. Folks, that's it. That's 24 in the books. If you want to get more involved with Triple Whale, it's trytriplewhale.com. We are on the Bird app at Triple Whale, and you can also subscribe to our fantastic newsletter called Whale Mail. It goes out every Tuesday, Thursday. The subscription is right on our Twitter profile. Savannah, how do people follow you?
I am social_Savanna on Twitter. And you can also reach me at my website, which is thesocialsavanna.com. And on my website, thesocialsavanna.com, you'll also see the link to my TikTok ads course.
Beautiful. Again, Savannah, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, thanks again for stopping in. Episode 24 in the books. We'll see everybody on the flip. Bye-bye.